Let's talk about addiction because this word gets thrown around a lot. But social media companies actually did study addiction research when building their products. Some of the early Facebook developers have admitted this publicly. They looked at how slot machines work, how video games hook players, how drug addiction forms in the brain. The key to addiction is something called intermittent variable rewards. This is a concept from psychology. It means you get rewards randomly and unpredictably. Sometimes you get a reward, sometimes you don't. You never know when it's coming. This pattern is more addictive than consistent rewards. Slot machines use this. You pull the lever. Sometimes you win. Usually you lose. But you might win on the next pull, so you keep pulling. Social media works exactly the same way. When you post something, you don't know how many likes you'll get. Maybe 5, maybe 500. You check back to see. That's a variable reward. When you refresh your feed, you don't know what you'll see. Maybe something interesting, maybe something boring, but maybe the next refresh will show something great. So you keep refreshing. The notifications are designed to trigger this too. You hear a ping or see a red dot. Something happened, but you don't know what. Could be important, could be nothing. The uncertainty makes you check. And when you check, you're back in the app seeing ads. Facebook even experimented with how fast to deliver likes. If all the likes come immediately, you check once and you're done. But if likes trickle in over hours, you keep checking back. Each check is another chance to show you ads. The infinite scroll was another breakthrough. Before infinite scroll, you'd reach the end of a page and have to click to see more. That pause gave you a moment to think and maybe leave. With infinite scroll, there's no end, no natural stopping point. The content keeps coming. Just like how Netflix automatically plays the next episode so you don't have to make a decision to keep watching. Social media also exploits something called social validation. Humans are wired to care what others think. We're social animals. Our survival used to depend on being accepted by the group. Social media turned this ancient instinct into a game with points. Likes are points. Followers are points. Comments, shares, retweets. They're all points in a game measuring your social value. And this game never ends. You can always get more likes, more followers, more validation. So you keep posting, keep checking, keep playing. The companies know this drives anxiety and depression, especially in young people. Internal research from Facebook, leaked in 2021, showed that Instagram makes body image issues worse. For 1 in 3 teenage girls, Facebook knew their product was harming kids. They did studies proving it, and they kept the research secret because fixing the problem might reduce engagement, which would reduce profit. Let me tell you about the attention economy because this is the framework for understanding all of this. The economy used to be about making products and selling them. In the attention economy, the product is getting people's attention and selling that attention to advertisers. Your attention has value. Every minute you spend looking at a screen is a minute advertisers can reach you. But attention is scarce. You only have so many waking hours. So social media companies compete viciously for your attention. They need to be more addictive than television, more engaging than video games, more compelling than real life. They hire experts from casinos to study how to maximize time spent on the app. They use AI to figure out exactly what content keeps you scrolling. They test different features on millions of users to see what increases engagement. This isn't about making a better product for you. It's about extracting more attention from you. Tristan Harris, a former Google design ethicist, calls this a race to the bottom of the brainstem. Companies compete to hijack our most basic instincts: fear, anger, lust, social approval, curiosity. They exploit psychological vulnerabilities to keep us hooked. Let's talk about the feed algorithm because this is where the manipulation gets sophisticated. You might think your social media feed shows posts in chronological order from people you follow. It doesn't, not anymore. Everything you see is chosen by an algorithm designed to maximize your engagement. Facebook's algorithm looks at thousands of signals to predict what you'll engage with. They track how long you hover over a post before scrolling, whether you click to read more, Whether you watch a video all the way through, every tiny behavior gets analyzed. The algorithm learns what triggers you. If you tend to comment on political posts, you'll see more political posts. If you watch cute animal videos, you'll see more of those. The algorithm isn't trying to show you what you want. It's trying to show you what will make you engage. And those are different things. Engagement means likes, comments, shares. But here's the key insight. The content that drives the most engagement isn't happy or informative content. It's content that triggers strong emotions, especially anger and outrage. Here's what social media companies don't want you to know. You're not the customer. You're the product being sold. And the price tag on your attention is way higher than you think. Every time you scroll through Instagram, watch a TikTok, or check Facebook, you think it's free. But nothing is free. These companies are making money from you right now, this very second. Facebook made over $116 billion last year. TikTok pulled in over $67 billion. Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, LinkedIn, they're all cashing in. But here's the crazy part. They're not selling you anything. They're selling you your time, your attention, your data, your behavior. Today we're going to break down exactly how social media turned human attention into the most valuable commodity on earth, why these apps are designed to be addictive, how they manipulate your emotions for profit, and what this means for your brain, your life, and society. This isn't conspiracy theory stuff. This is documented business strategy. And once you understand how it works, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. Let's start with a question. When was the last time you opened your phone and didn't check social media? For most people, the answer is never. We check our phones an average of 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes during waking hours, and most of those checks are social media. This didn't happen by accident. Social media companies employ hundreds of engineers, designers, and psychologists whose only job is to keep you scrolling. They study human behavior. They run thousands of experiments. They use artificial intelligence and data science, all to answer one question. How do we keep people on our app longer? Why? Because time is money, literally. The longer you stay on social media, the more ads you see, the more ads you see, the more money these companies make. It's that simple. Facebook doesn't make money when you're happy or informed or connected. Facebook makes money when you're looking at their apps seeing advertisements. Let me show you the numbers. Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, makes about 98% of its revenue from advertising. TikTok makes about 90% from ads. Twitter, before it went private, made about 90% from ads. Snapchat makes about 99% from ads. These are advertising companies disguised as social networks. But advertising isn't new. Television had ads, radio had ads, magazines had ads. So what makes social media different? The answer is personalization and scale. A television ad reaches everyone watching that show. But a social media ad can target exactly you, based on everything these companies know about you, and they know everything. Let's talk about data, because this is where things get creepy. Every action you take on social media gets recorded. Every post you like, every video you watch, every ad you click, every second you spend looking at something, all of it goes into a database. But it's not just what you do on their platform. Facebook tracks you across the internet using pixels and cookies. If you visit a website that has a Facebook pixel, Facebook knows you visited. If you have Facebook installed on your phone, Facebook can see what other apps you use. They know your location. They know who your friends are. They know what you buy. Instagram, owned by Facebook, does the same thing. They analyze every photo you post, who you follow, what hashtags you use, what time of day you're most active. TikTok watches how long you watch each video. When you rewatch, when you scroll past, they track your face through filters. They know your voice. If you record videos, Twitter tracks your likes, retweets, who you follow, what you search for. LinkedIn knows your work history, education, skills, professional connections. Snapchat knows who you message, what you look at, where you are through SnapMap. Pinterest knows what you want to buy, what style you like, what you dream about. All of this data gets fed into machine learning algorithms. These algorithms build a profile of you, not just demographic data like age and gender. Deep psychological profiles. They know if you're an introvert or extrovert, if you're anxious or confident, if you're liberal or conservative, what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what you're insecure about. This profile is incredibly valuable. Advertisers will pay huge money to show ads to exactly the right person at exactly the right time. Facebook can charge more for ads because they can guarantee that it reaches people who are likely to buy. A wedding photographer can target people who just got engaged. A baby products company can target new parents. A political campaign can target specific voters with specific messages. This is why Facebook and Google together control about 60% of all digital advertising. They have better data than anyone else. They can prove their ads work, and advertisers keep paying. But showing you ads is just the beginning. The real genius of social media is making you want to see those ads. And to do that, they had to figure out how to make their apps addictive. A study by researchers at Yale found that for every word of moral outrage in a tweet, the tweet was 17% more likely to be retweeted. Facebook's own research found that posts triggering anger got 5 times more engagement than other emotions. So the algorithm learned to show you things that make you angry because angry people engage more. This is why your feed feels so negative, why politics seems so polarized, why everyone seems outraged all the time. The algorithm amplifies outrage because outrage drives engagement, which drives at revenue. This has real consequences. Myanmar's military used Facebook to spread hate speech against Rohingya Muslims, leading to genocide. Facebook's algorithm amplified the hateful posts because they got high engagement. In the United States, misinformation about elections spread faster than truth on social media because false information tends to be more sensational and gets more engagement. During the COVID pandemic, conspiracy theories and health misinformation went viral on social media, not because they were true, but because they were engaging. They triggered fear and anger. They got shared, so the algorithms promoted them. Social media companies say they're just neutral platforms. They're not responsible for what users post. But that's not true. Their algorithms actively decide what gets amplified and what gets buried. They're making editorial decisions constantly. They just make them with code instead of editors. Let's talk about the business model more specifically because understanding the money explains everything. Meta made $116 billion in 2023, almost all of it from ads. Here's how it works. Advertisers create campaigns targeting specific demographics, interests, and behaviors. Facebook charges them based on impressions. How many people see the ad or clicks? How many people click it? The more targeted the ad, the more Facebook can charge. But Facebook isn't just selling ad space. They're selling effectiveness. Their algorithms optimize ad delivery to show each ad to the people most likely to respond. This makes advertising on Facebook more effective than almost any other medium. So advertisers keep spending more. TikTok works similarly, but even more aggressively. TikTok's algorithm is incredibly good at figuring out what you like and showing you more of it. This keeps users on the app for an average of 95 minutes per day. 95 minutes of attention they can sell to advertisers. TikTok also pioneered something called native advertising, where ads look like regular content. You're scrolling through videos and suddenly there's an ad that looks like every other video. This blurs the line between content and advertising, making it harder to tune out. Instagram makes money the same way but with a focus on influencer marketing. Regular people with large followings promote products. It feels more authentic than traditional advertising, but it's still advertising. And Instagram takes a cut through various mechanisms. YouTube, owned by Google, uses a slightly different model. They share ad revenue with creators. This incentivizes creators to make content that gets views, which keeps people on YouTube, which lets YouTube show more ads. Everyone makes money except the viewer, who pays with their attention. Twitter made most of its money from ads before Elon Musk bought it. Now they're experimenting with subscriptions. But the core model remains the same. Keep users on the platform as long as possible and show them ads. LinkedIn combines ads with premium subscriptions. They charge recruiters and salespeople for access to user data. But the fundamental model is still attention. Keep professionals scrolling through their feed and show them ads for business software, conferences, and training programs. All of these companies compete for the same resource, your finite attention, and they're incredibly good at getting it. The average person spends 2.5 hours per day on social media. For teenagers, it's closer to 5 hours. That's more time than most people spend with their families, more time than they spend exercising, reading, or pursuing hobbies. Let's talk about what this does to your brain, because the science here is genuinely concerning. Studies using brain scans have shown that social media activates the same reward centers as cocaine. When you get likes or positive comments, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in drug addiction. Your brain starts associating your phone with reward. Every time you feel bored, anxious, or lonely, your brain says check your phone. That makes us feel better, so you check. And temporarily, you do feel better. You get a little hit of dopamine, but then it fades, and you need another hit, so you check again. Over time, this changes your brain structure. Studies have found that heavy social media users have reduced gray matter in brain regions associated with decision-making and impulse control. Their brains start to resemble the brains of people with substance abuse disorders. Attention spans are shrinking. A Microsoft study found the average attention span dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to 8 seconds in 2013. Goldfish have an attention span of 9 seconds. We're now worse than goldfish. Social media deserves a lot of blame for this. The constant stream of quick-hit content trains our brains to expect constant stimulation. Social media also affects mental health. Dozens of studies have linked social media use to increased rates of anxiety, depression, loneliness, and suicidal thoughts, especially in young people. The correlation is strongest for teenage girls using Instagram and TikTok. Why? Partly social comparison. Social media shows you everyone else's highlight reel. Your friends look happy and successful. Influencers look perfect. You compare your messy reality to their curated fantasy and feel inadequate. But it's also about time displacement, hours spent on social media or hours not spent doing things that actually make humans happy. Face-to-face interaction, physical activity, sleep, creative hobbies, deep work, meaningful relationships. Social media replaces these things with a shallow digital simulation that tricks your brain, but doesn't satisfy deeper needs. Sleep disruption is another huge problem. Blue light from screens suppresses melatonin. But worse, social media keeps your brain activated when it should be winding down. You check your phone before bed and suddenly you're doom scrolling for an hour. You wake up in the middle of the night and check your phone, your sleep quality suffers. And sleep deprivation affects everything from mood to decision-making to physical health. For kids and teenagers, the impact is even worse. Their brains are still developing. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control and long-term thinking, doesn't fully develop until the mid-20s. Teenagers are especially vulnerable to addictive patterns and social pressure, giving them unlimited access to algorithmically optimized addiction machines is a massive uncontrolled experiment. Internal documents from Facebook show they knew this. They researched the effects on teens. They found their products were harmful, and they kept the research secret while publicly claiming their platforms brought people together and made the world better. Let's talk about manipulation, because social media doesn't just capture your attention, it shapes your behavior and opinions. This is valuable to advertisers, but also to anyone who wants to influence people, politicians, foreign governments, scammers, extremist groups. Cambridge Analytica was the wake-up call. This political consulting firm harvested data from millions of Facebook users without consent. They used the data to build psychological profiles. Then they targeted users with personalized political ads designed to manipulate their emotions and voting behavior. They worked on the Brexit campaign and the 2016 US presidential election. When the scandal broke, everyone was shocked. But here's the thing. Cambridge Analytica just used tools Facebook made available. The capability for this kind of manipulation is built into the platform. Facebook's entire business model is selling the ability to influence people's behavior. Russia used similar techniques to interfere in elections. They created fake accounts and pages. They posted divisive content designed to increase polarization. Facebook's algorithm amplified this content because it got high engagement. Millions of Americans saw Russian propaganda and didn't know it. This isn't just about elections. Scammers use social media to run cons. They steal photos from real people, create fake profiles, and trick others into sending money. Hate groups use social media to recruit. Terrorist organizations use it to radicalize. All because social media platforms optimize for engagement without much consideration for consequences. The platforms say they're working on these problems. They hire content moderators. They use AI to detect harmful content. They partner with fact checkers. But the fundamental issue remains. Their business model rewards engagement, and harmful content is often highly engaging. Let's talk about influencers because they're a key part of how social media makes money. An influencer is someone with a large following who can influence their audience's behavior. Companies pay influencers to promote products. This is incredibly effective because it feels like a recommendation from a friend, not an ad. The influencer industry is worth over $21 billion. Some top influencers make millions per year. But for every successful influencer, thousands are struggling. They're trapped on a hamster wheel of content creation, constantly posting to keep the algorithm happy and maintain their following. Many influencers report burnout, anxiety, and depression. They're performing their lives for an audience. Every moment becomes content. They can't just experience things. They have to photograph and post things. Their self-worth becomes tied to likes and follower counts. This creates a weird dynamic where regular people try to become influencers. They optimize their lives for social media. They go to places because they're Instagrammable, not because they actually want to go there. They choose clothes, food, experiences based on how they'll look online. Life becomes performance. Authenticity becomes impossible. Social media companies love this because it creates more content, which keeps users engaged, which creates more opportunities to show ads. Everyone becomes an unpaid content creator for these platforms. You post photos and videos for free. Social media companies make billions showing ads next to your content, and you get nothing except likes and the chance to maybe become an influencer someday. Let's talk about the creator economy because platforms are now sharing some revenue with creators. YouTube pays creators a portion of that revenue. TikTok has a creator fund. Facebook pays some video creators. This sounds generous, but it's strategic. By paying creators, platforms ensure a steady supply of content to keep users engaged, and most creators make very little money. The average YouTuber with 100,000 subscribers makes about $500 to $2,000 per month from ads. That's not enough to live on for most people, but it's enough to keep them creating content. The platforms take the majority of revenue. YouTube keeps 45% of that revenue. TikTok's creator fund pays pennies per 1,000 views. These companies make billions while the creators doing the actual work make scraps. It's a brilliant business model if you're the platform. Terrible if you're a creator. Let us talk about what this means for society because the effects go way beyond individual mental health and privacy. Social media is changing how we communicate, how we think, and how democracy functions. Public discourse has moved online. But online discourse is shaped by algorithms optimizing for engagement. This means the most extreme voices get amplified. The reasonable middle ground gets ignored because it's boring. Nuance disappears because Complexity doesn't fit in a tweet or generate likes. Political polarization has increased dramatically in countries with high social media use. This isn't coincidental. When the algorithm shows you content that makes you angry about the other side, you become more extreme in your views. You stop seeing the other side as people you disagree with and start seeing them as enemies. Social media also creates false consensus. If your feed is full of people who agree with you, you think everyone thinks like you. You don't realize you're in a filter bubble. This makes it hard to understand election results or social changes that seem to come out of nowhere. Misinformation spreads faster than truth on social media. A study by MIT found that false news spreads 6 times faster than true news on Twitter. Why? Because false information is often more novel and surprising, which makes it more engaging. The algorithm doesn't care if something is true. It cares if people engage with it. This erodes trust in institutions, science, and shared reality. When people get their news from social media, they're exposed to a mix of real news, fake news, satire, and propaganda, all presented similarly. Many people can't tell the difference. During crises like the pandemic or natural disasters, misinformation on social media can literally kill people. False cures, fake safety warnings, conspiracy theories about the government. All of this spreads rapidly because it's engaging and triggering. The companies claim they're just platforms and can't be held responsible, but they make editorial decisions constantly through their algorithms. They just don't want to be held accountable for those decisions. Let's talk about regulation, because governments are starting to wake up to these issues. The European Union has passed laws like GDPR requiring better data privacy and giving users more control. They're working on the Digital Services Act to regulate harmful content and algorithmic transparency. Other countries are considering similar laws. Australia made Facebook pay news organizations for linking to their content. India has demanded these companies remove certain content and hand over user data. China banned most Western social media entirely and requires their own platforms to follow strict government rules. In the United States, regulation has been slow. Social media companies have huge lobbying budgets. They donate to politicians. They argue that regulation would stifle innovation and free speech. But pressure is building, especially around protecting children. Some proposed solutions include requiring algorithmic transparency, so users understand why they're seeing certain content, age verification to keep kids off certain platforms, data portability, so you can move your social network to a different platform, breaking up the big companies to increase competition. But regulation is tricky. These are global platforms. Different countries have different rules, and the technology moves fast. By the time a law passes, the platforms have evolved. Some people argue the business model itself is the problem. As long as social media companies make money from attention and advertising, they'll always optimize for engagement over well-being. Alternative models exist. Subscription-based social networks, where users pay and the platform serves them, not advertisers. Non-profit platforms run like Wikipedia, decentralized platforms where no single company controls everything. But none of these alternatives have taken off. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, they're too big and too convenient. Switching has a high cost because all your friends are already there. This is called network effects, and it makes these platforms incredibly hard to compete with. Let's talk about what you can do personally, because waiting for regulation or alternatives might take years. Understanding how these systems work gives you power to resist them. First, be aware. Every time you open social media, remember you're entering a space designed to manipulate you. The content you see is chosen to keep you engaged. The notifications are engineered to bring you back. Knowing this helps you maintain perspective. Second, turn off notifications. Most social media notifications aren't important. They're just trying to pull you back to the app. Turning them off removes one manipulation technique. Third, delete apps from your phone. If you must use social media, use it on a computer and a web browser. This creates friction. You have to make a conscious decision to check instead of mindlessly opening an app every few minutes. Fourth, set time limits. Both iOS and Android have built-in tools to limit app usage. Set a daily limit for social media. When you hit it, the app blocks. This forces awareness of how much time you're spending. Fifth, audit who you follow. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad or angry. Follow accounts that actually add value to your life. Curate your feed intentionally instead of letting the algorithm decide. Sixth, never scroll before bed or right after waking. These are vulnerable times when social media most easily hijacks your attention and mood. Build different habits for these times. Seventh, be skeptical of everything you see. Remember that posts are curated to look good, that viral stories are often fake or exaggerated, that you're seeing content because it's engaging, not because it's true or important. Eighth, replace social media time with something else. The hardest part of quitting or reducing social media is filling the void. Have alternatives ready. Books, hobbies, exercise. Real conversations. If you just create empty time, you'll fall back into scrolling. Some people do digital detoxes. They delete all social media for a week or a month. Many report feeling anxious for the first few days, which tells you something about addiction. But then they feel liberated, more present, more connected to real life. Some never go back. So here's what it all comes down to. Social media companies have built the most sophisticated manipulation machines in human history. They've hired the smartest people, used the most advanced technology, and spent billions of dollars on one goal: capturing and monetizing your attention. They've succeeded beyond anyone's imagination. These platforms have billions of users. They've changed how humans communicate and consume information. They've made their founders some of the richest people on earth, and they've done it by turning your attention, your data, your emotions, and your behavior into products they sell. The cost is your mental health, your privacy, your time, and potentially democracy itself. These aren't exaggerations. The research is clear. The evidence is overwhelming. Social media, as currently designed, is harmful, but it doesn't have to be this way. These are choices, design choices, business model choices, regulatory choices. Society is waking up to the problem. Change is coming. Whether it's fast enough and strong enough remains to be seen. In the meantime, you have agency. You can choose how much power you give these platforms over your attention and your life. You can demand better. You can support alternatives. You can protect your kids. You can reclaim your time. The attention economy wants you to believe you're powerless, that you need social media, that you can't resist. That's just more manipulation. You're stronger than the algorithm, but only if you understand how it works and consciously choose to break free. Your attention is valuable. Stop giving it away for free to companies that profit by keeping you angry, anxious, and addicted. Take it back. Use it for things that actually matter. Connect with real people. Learn real skills. Build real things. Live a real life, not a performed one. Social media promised to bring the world together. Instead, it's pulling us apart while making billions from our distraction. Now you know how it works. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. Subscribe and watch what's next to learn more about how tech is changing your life.